Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is a story about what if Naruto primordial god Percy Jackson. Before I start, please support for more amazing content and do consider subscribing to my channel and share this video with your friends. This is written by GRIMREAPER113 and link in description and support writer. Let's start the video. Chaos and destruction was all around him, death and fear were his companions. The young man looked at the beast in front of him roaring and thrashing about, destroying everything in his path. This was not the plan. Screamed his once upon a time opponent as they watched it destroy everything. Mother, what went wrong? Questioned the blob-looking thing from the white-haired woman's sleeve. It would seem as the ritual to bring me back to full strength was hijacked by the Jubi instead, so all the tailed beast chakra and power went into him instead. The woman answered while breathing hard. Naruto, what now? With Sasuke dead we can't seal the Jubi anymore. His longtime friend and teammate said while holding her stump of a left hand. Madara, can you buy us some time? I'm going to try and seal him within me, well Kagaya seals me like the sage did long ago. I don't think I have the power to hold it back. Naruto said while looking at his hand, seeing both the sun and moon mark on them. The sage in his final bid to help gave up all his power and strength and gave it all to Naruto, unknowingly giving him both marks. The guy looked at the kid who just hours ago was her enemy, now turned ally after the Jubi erupted from her, taking most of her power. Madara, who was also spit out from her after the Jubi escaped, tried to attack them only to stop after he saw the fully manifested Jubi. Now both were working together alongside Naruto and what remained of the Shinobi Alliance, trying to seal it away once more. Sasuke had tried to become the new Jinchuriki of the 10 tails but failed when it just ate him whole. It had then fired multiple tailed beast bombs in every direction, destroying the landscape. No kid, I no longer have the chakra needed to even activate my Sharingan anymore, let alone hold it down for long. Madara informed them while looking at the beast who he once thought he controlled. Not if we all give him our chakra. Kagaya said while looking at Naruto. If we all give him our chakra, then maybe he will have the power to seal it inside him and hold it back. Madara, if we give him your eyes and I give him my power, then he might be able to one day tame it. Kagaya said while standing tall and summoning a Shakugan. Madara looked at her and nodded, knowing they held no more power over it any longer as it was wary of them. So with what little chakra he had left, he placed his hand over Naruto's back and let his chakra flow while using his other hand to rip his eyes out and gave them to Sakura, who nodded and started to prepare to transplant them to Naruto. Kagaya helped Sakura transplant the eyes into him before transferring her chakra little by little. Everyone he knew did the same, making him smile at them. Be careful, and Naruto. Hinata said while placing her hand over his heart, sending her share. Naruto could feel his chakra rising as well as feel Madara's eyes adjusting to him. He had never felt this powerful, but there was something else. He could practically see everyone's skills, and somehow he knew exactly how to use it, from Sakura's medical jutsu to Madara's infamous fire jutsu to even Kagaya's dimensional rip ability. Just like a king must always be ready for war, a queen must always know what her subject knows. You have grown a lot, Naruto, so much that I'm sure your father would be proud. Naruto snapped his eyes open and began looking around him with his new Rin Sharingan eyes, courtesy of Madara and Kagaya. Mom, is that you? All he heard was a sigh in sadness before the voice once more spoke to him. Finish this, son, and I'm sure your father will inform you after the battle. Naruto nodded and looked towards the 10 tails before taking a deep breath and summoning his Shikujo and bursting into his now silver and gold Biju cloak. This is the last chance we have to end this, and by the sage I'll end this, I won't let anyone else die. Naruto yelled while flashing towards Jubi. Everyone looked on in amazement at Naruto's new strength while everyone placed their hands together in a prayer-like manner and prayed to him unknowingly. Naruto suddenly felt more power flowing to him while simultaneously hearing everyone's voices in his head cheering him on. Go Naruto. Suddenly there was a brilliantly flash and a loud bang and everything went silent. They were forced to cover their eyes before they all had to grab onto something when they all felt a fierce vacuum. They didn't know what it was until they all looked to see their chakra being taken and sucked into what looked like a black hole where Naruto and the Jubi once were. When it all calmed down, everyone suddenly felt the loss of chakra. Sakura looked around, seeing some trying to do jutsus to no avail. She even saw Kakashi look at his hands in shock. Hey Kakashi-sensei, what happened? I can't sense my chakra anymore. Sakura asked while looking at him. The 10 tails was the originator of chakra, and with him gone, so is chakra. Whatever happened in the moment Naruto touched, it might have forced every last drop of chakra to return to it before they were sucked into that black hole. Kagaya said while standing up and looking towards where Naruto and the Jubi once stood. But chakra gone, there might finally be true peace, as now we are all the same, no more shinobi, no more bloodlines, we are the same. Kagaya went on while looking at Sakura, showing that now her eyes were a dark grey color instead of pure white. But what about in Naruto? Hinata screamed, her eyes also becoming grey. That boy is too stubborn to die to something like this, I'm sure he found a way out before it and is probably out there looking for trouble. Madara said while his eyes were now Naruto's old sapphire blue, something everyone instantly agreed looked weird on him. I'm sure we'll see him again someday. Maybe when he does come back he'll have one hell of a story to tell. Kiba said, trying to lift Hinata's spirit. Alright, then we should also try and do our best to make sure he comes back to a peaceful and thriving new village. Ino exclaimed, getting many yells of agreement. Madara watched the previous cages slowly turn to dust but decided to speak to Hashirama one last time. So this is the final time I'll ever speak and see you till my time comes once more, Hashirama. So it seems, but maybe now you can live a peaceful life among them, after all you now hold the most experience. Hashirama said while slowly fading away. Until we meet again, old friend. Madara said while smiling at him. As he went back to help out he saw Kagaya staring out into the empty space still looking. So what will you do now? I don't know what I should do. Kagaya asked him, never looking away. We will need all the help we can get to rebuild everything, so you're more than welcome to join us. After all, any friend of Naruto is our friend. Shikamaru spoke up while scratching his head. They are right, so want to join us? Tsunade said while extending her hand. But the now ex-shinobis were now on their way to making a new start, hopefully for the better, but only time would tell what came off it. Naruto. For the past hour or so all he could feel was agonizing pain from the constant struggle inside him against the 10 tails now known as the Shinju. He could feel his body tear apart, then be put back together only to start all over again. He felt his very soul being melded together with the Shinju, both fighting for dominance inside him. He was so close to losing if it wasn't for the timely interference of his father and surprisingly his mother. Mom? Dad? How are why you here? Naruto struggled to say while pulling with all strength on the chakra string connecting him and the Shinju. Don't worry about that now, son, for now I'm going to distract it and your mother is going to help you pull. With that said, Minato was gone in a flash before appearing around the Shinju and delivering Rasengan after Rasengan, distracting it long enough for his hold on the chakra string to slacken. Now. Kushina yelled before Naruto felt his strength grow 1,000 times over and with one mighty pull, he saw the Shinju's chakra leave it and flow into him. Naruto didn't know how to describe the incredible feeling of power flowing into him, but he could feel his body becoming denser and his chakra reserve felt almost infinite. Now's not the time to be amazed with your new power, son, since the Shinju is still here. Minato said, knocking him out of his daze, making him look at the incomplete version of the Shinju once more. Alright, well now to lock him down until I can find a way to split him once more. But that said, Naruto made a single hand sign before announcing his technique. Sage art. Gracious deity gates. But that 18 Tori gate came from the top of the Shinju, locking his tails, arms, chest, waist, legs and neck, preventing him from moving even an inch. That should hold for now. With that, Naruto turned toward his parents and before they could say anything Naruto was upon them, crushing them in a huge hug. I guess you two being here means I'm most likely dead, huh? With that simple sentence Naruto felt a fist hit his head, making him look at a very angry mother with her fist raised ready to strike again. Don't be stupid, Naruto, you're far from dead, in fact I say you aren't. Gushi, shouldn't we take him to meet her first? Minato stopped her before she could continue. Alright, I forgot, hold on to your questions. There is someone who wants to meet you first, honey. Before he could make a retort she snapped her fingers and they disappeared from the void. Unknown location. The first thing he saw was an endless night sky filled with stars, far more than he had ever seen anywhere in the element nations. Though the moment he looked towards his feet he almost had a heart attack as he saw what looked like moons or planets, scaring him into thinking he was gonna fall. Relax, on, nothing will happen to you, come, it's rude to keep the host waiting, you know. Naruto looked to see his mother had changed in appearance, but her voice and the warmth she gave him was the same. He couldn't describe her looks, as to him his mother would always be beautiful, but if he had to then he'd have to say that the bronze brown hair didn't really complement her beauty or those brown eyes with bronze specks. What happened to you, mom? You look different, but I must say that this look doesn't really suit you. I loved your red hair more and your violet eyes too. Naruto said, earning him a huge smile from her and a hug. Thank you, honey, but this is how I really look like, you see. Taking a deep breath, Kushina decided to just drop the ball, as they say. Where I come from, my true name is Hera, Queen of Olympus, goddess of marriage and motherhood, patron of women and ect. Now revealed, Hera said while looking at Naruto, who just looked at her for a second before he sighed and slapped his face hard. Ow. Okay, not dreaming, so that's good. Now then, what the fuck? Naruto calmly said to himself before exploding on her. Oh yes, your father had the same reaction too when I told him. Hera said with a smile while looking at him. But before you say another word we need to speak to someone, now come. With that she grabbed his hand and dragged him off to who knows where. As he was dragged he was thinking what this meant for him. His mother was a goddess, so that meant she was immortal, which meant You could have been with me this entire time if you were truly a goddess. Those words froze Hera as they sounded cold and empty like she had just been stabbed straight through the heart. Naruto honey listened but was stopped when he ripped his hand from her grip. All those years alone, all those years without the love of a parent and you were alive all this time. No, you never truly died, so what, you decided to take a vacation with dad and when you saw a way out you took it. Did I even matter to you and was the person I met when fighting with Kurama even you? Naruto told her, making her get more and more hurt and sad while looking at his now cold onyx eyes. If you wish to be angry at anyone, young hero, then be angry at me, since I forbid her from setting foot on your realm after the Nine Tails attack on the day of your birth. A feminine voice rang out, making him look behind his mother to see someone standing there. She looked to be dark-skinned like she might have been from the Cloud Village with black hair that had white streaks that looked like shooting stars. Her figure rivaled that of Ino with breasts just a tad bit smaller than Tsunade, but not by much. She also seemed to be barefoot, wearing an elegant black dress with stars all over it. Child of prophecy, please come closer so I may tell you why your mother couldn't be with you. Naruto nodded while walking forward, and once he was 5 feet away from her, he noticed her eyes looked like a mass of swirling stars with no pupils, only stars. You see, the moment you were born the fates forbade all gods and goddesses from interfering with your realm, something I didn't like, but had to allow for you to become the man you are now, my champion. With that, Naruto raised an eyebrow at her, but said nothing, allowing her to continue. You see, for I am chaos, creator of all that you see and all that you don't. I am power and I am weakness. There is nothing in all of creation that I don't see, hear and know. So I knew you would become far more powerful than anyone in your realm, but no matter what, you always lost when fighting Kurama. Naruto looked shocked at her reveal, but then grew confused at the last part. I lost against Kurama, but I won. Ho, that's when it struck him, and he looked at his mother who smiled sadly at him and nodded, knowing what he wanted to say. Yes, you did, because I ran through all options, and when I saw that the presence of your father didn't help, I tried your mother, and that's when the tide of war changed for the better. Your mother's love reached you and empowered you to never surrender. Chaos yelled excitedly, being far too giddy. I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw you fight the Shinju and win, and I knew you would be the perfect champion, someone who is not only able to fight a fraction of my power and not only win, but tame it. Naruto and Hera merely looked at each other, and Naruto gave her a small smile, making Hera smile brighter, since that meant he was forgiving her little by little. So this fate is the one I have to punish, is what you're saying, Lady Chaos? Naruto asked while cracking his knuckles. Oh yes, they are the ones, but not now. Right now I wish to ask you to once more help bring another realm to peace. Chaos asked. Another? Yes, your mother's realm is ruled by an idiotic child playing king and throwing tantrums. When anyone doesn't do things his way, he also happens to be your mother's brother husband, not by choice, mind you, forced in a way. When Naruto heard this, he clenched his fist and looked at his mother. Mother, is this true? He wasn't weirded out by the brother part, since in his home that was common when wanting to keep a bloodline pure. I mean, look at the Hyugas. Unfortunately yes, and given I'm the goddess of marriage, I can't really just divorce him, as that would look bad if the goddess of marriage herself didn't respect the sanctuary of marriage. Doesn't mean I haven't looked for a way out, and after centuries of looking I found it. Hera looked at him and smiled while grabbing his hands and bringing them to her face. I loved your father, that was no lie, and I was so very happy to find out I would have a child with him, so much that I was willing to fight my husband to make your father my immortal husband and bring you both back with me. Hera told him, making him smile and give her hands a squeeze. Then I found a very old law that my mother left for this very occasion, stating that any child of mine holds the right to dethrone my husband, as he holds my blood, therefore royal blood. I was planning on letting you grow and teaching you everything I knew, so one day should you and your father choose to come back with me, and as I knew he would try to smite you, you could challenge him to the right for the throne. Naruto was surprised, but before he could say anything his mother placed a finger at his lips. But as I saw you grow, I saw that you didn't care for glory or fame. You could have become king of the land of spring long ago but chose not to, so I knew you would never take the throne and become king of the gods. Hera smiles while kissing his knuckles and smiling at him. So I decided instead to bring you back with me and help me as my demigod, and since Chaos chose you to be her champion, there is nothing Zeus can do to you this way. You'll always be close to me and help me bring peace whether he likes it or not. Naruto was liking this more and more, going with his mother and helping her annoy a stuck-up prick well. Where do I sign up? Both women smiled at him, knowing what he was thinking. Minato. Minato for his part was just playing shogi with the Shinigami, with the other cages just lounging around. It would seem your wife and son forgot about you, Minato. Yes, but I do hope they at least say goodbye. Minato told the Shinigami, not knowing that Naruto and Hera were already on their way to her realm. The other merely chuckled at his misfortune. Last time. So I decided instead to bring you back with me and help me as my demigod, and since Chaos chose you to be her champion, there is nothing Zeus can do to you this way, you'll always be close to me and help me bring peace whether he likes it or not. Naruto was liking this more and more, going with his mother and helping her annoy a stuck-up prick. Well. Where do I sign up? Both women smiled at him, knowing what he was thinking. Present time. Naruto and his mother were now waiting on Chaos to send them back to the realm of Hera. So what am I to do once we get there, Mom? Naruto asked while looking at her and stretching lightly. Unfortunately, I will have to send you to a camp for demigods for now, until you can prove yourself a true hero in my realm, then, and only then can I make you a god and have you at my side at all times. Hera told him, making him frown but nod. That might be a little harder to do than we all think. When Chaos said this, she saw them look at her, so she continued on. Well, you see, Naruto might have the Shinju in his control, but not his power, therefore your chakra is out of control, so I suggest training your chakra control once more. Oh, and just because you have the knowledge of all your friends' jutsus doesn't mean you can actually do them right away. Naruto's shoulders were slumping more and more as she went on. Another thing, yes, your clones are an excellent way to train, but not with this, as the Shinju is disrupting your chakra flow until you can fully tame it, so I believe you can only make around 2 to 3 clones at a time now. With those final words, Naruto was on the floor on all fours, crying tears of despair. Then my training cheat move is useless now, and now I have to actually train. Hera laughed at her son, knowing how much he loved that move. Cheer up, my child, with my blessing you'll be able to use the very basics of the Sharingan, at least everything else you'll have to once more work for it, and I'll love to see you once more show me why you were the best choice to be my champion. Chaos said while smiling at him. Wait, if the Shinju is a fraction of you, can't you give me full control over it so I can use my clone again? Naruto asked with hope in his eyes. Why, yes I can, but I won't, since it'll be a lot more fun to see you grow once more. I mean, really, Naruto, I'm here all by myself, I need some sort of entertainment. No. And me being unable to properly protect myself is entertaining. Naruto deadpanned. You won't be unprotected, since as my champion nothing in creation can fatally hurt you. I did tone it down, so you won't be too overpowered. I can't have a mortal stronger than the god straight off the bat now, can we? That would just be weird, plus it will placate little Zeus for a bit and keep him off your back if he knows that the bastard son of his wife can be put in his place. Naruto nodded at her reasoning, but then another thought came to mind. So what can I do? You'll be able to make, as stated, anywhere from 3 to 5 with my blessing, of course, clones, the Rasengan, Sage Mode, although nature is limited there, the basic Sharingan Predict, COPY, though nothing uses chakra, so demigod related techniques can't be copied, and the ability to put people under Jinjutsu, even though I know you are not good at them with the Sharingan, you can at least make people fall asleep and hypnotize them. Naruto was shocked that he was basically no stronger than a Chunin. I'd also recommend you not try and use the Biju cloak too much, since it only worked last time, because I allowed it to so I could bring the Shinju and you here. Once you tame the Shinju or separate it once more, you can freely use it again. Chaos informed him while he nodded along. With my blessing you won't have that much difficulty learning everything once more, it will just take time. Also, should Zeus truly try and smite you all, you have to say, Chaos grant me strength, and you will have instant access to your Biju cloak, just don't kill him, not yet at least. Naruto tilted his and looked at her confused. There is a prophecy going on right now, and Zeus, although he really isn't needed, but for better or worse, needs to be included for now, as the prophecy involves his daughter and the children of his brothers. Naruto nodded. Man, I just finished one prophecy, and now I have to help with another. Naruto whined while placing both arms behind his head. Can I at least know this prophecy, or is it top secret? Naruto asked while looking at both his mother and Chaos. The prophecy itself is as follows. The half-blood of the eldest god shall reach 16 against all odds and see the world in endless sleep, the hero's soul, cursed blade shall repay, single choice shall end his days, Olympus to preserve or raise. That is the full prophecy, and since Zeus, my brothers Poseidon and Hades are considered the big three, we all know it refers to them. Hera sighed while watching her son go into a thinking pose and seemed to be deep in thought. I see, I don't get it at all. Naruto said after finally slamming his fist into his open palm, making Hera sigh in exasperation. Chaos though laughed loudly, always loving Naruto's goofy and idiotic personality, since it always brought so much warmth and joy to whoever accompanied him on his journeys. Well, now that you know your limits, it's time to send you two off. I was able to get everything pertaining ninjutsu, jinjutsu, taijutsu, kinjutsu, senjutsu and everything else a ninja might need who can use everything, since you are now the last shinobi, given how the Shinju and you unknowingly took all the chakra with you. Naruto was amazed, then remembered that the old man sage did bestow upon him all his power, so it sort of made sense. Okay, I'm ready when you are, Lady Chaos, Mom. Both smiled at him. As soon as you get into camp I will claim you, so prepare yourself, since I'm sure my husband would not be too pleased. Hera warned him, making him crack his knuckles and grin. Chaos nodded and snapped her fingers, making a burning sensation appear on Naruto's left pec. That mark is my symbol and what marks you as my champion, but I'll claim you as well when you reach camp to make Zeus think twice about attacking you. Chaos told him while Naruto rubbed his chest. Well, hold on, but given how you can use the flying thunder god, this shouldn't feel that much different. Good luck, my champion, and once you're done bringing peace to that realm, I shall reward you handsomely. All Naruto was able to see next was a flash of white before he felt the familiar sense of weightlessness and the rush of traveling faster than light itself. Unknown forest. The first thing he felt was exhaustion and then chakra depletion. Crap, come on Lady Chaos, you could have at least put me here fresh instead of leaving me like how I was in the war. Naruto decided to take a few minutes to rest before figuring out where in the world he was. He was thankful that his mom at least told him he would be dropped off as close as possible to camp. As he was resting, Naruto heard roars and felt the very ground shake, making his eyes open to see a mass of monsters chasing 3 kids and a goat man. 2 girls, one about 12, another around 7, and the boy seems to be 14. The goat man can't really tell. Well, fuck. Was all Naruto said before running towards them while trying to see what he could do at the moment. I have enough chakra for maybe 2 Rasengans or 1 big bull Rasengan. I can also probably make 6 clones. Shit now. I really wish I could have told Lady Chaos to heal me up a bit at least. But that Naruto decided to throw caution to the wind and just focus on saving the kids. Hit the dirt now. The kids and Goatman turn in time to see Naruto in the air with a huge sphere of what looked like blue energy of some kind. Emerald Rasengan, massive Rasengan. Everyone watched as his attack made contact with the one-eyed monsters called the Cyclops. Who is that? The 12-year-old black hair punk looking girl screamed while shielding herself and her friends with her shield. Doesn't matter who I am right now, I'll take it from here. Naruto screamed back, not moving a muscle, trying to get even a sliver of nature energy. The 4 of them looked at him like he was crazy, and little did they know that when it came to fighting to protect Naruto, Uzumaki always went big. When 2 giant black dog-looking monsters took a step forward towards him, Naruto vanished in a burst of speed and appeared in between them, aiming a punch to both their faces. Unfortunately, Naruto saw them both dodge her, so they thought before the 2 of them were sent flying in opposite directions, slamming through a tree before turning to golden dust. Before any could see, the marking around his eyes disappeared and his onyx black eyes were back. Really? Only 5 seconds of Sage Mode is all I can muster right now, what the hell? Naruto jumped back, landing in front of the kids, and watched a whole bunch more of the dogs approaching with more Cyclops and 3 hideous-looking bird-looking ladies. Give us the child of lighting demigod and we'll let you leave. The other 2 looked towards her to see a strange knife in her forehead with a piece of paper attached to it. The 3 of them were about to laugh at the idiot demigod's blunder until the paper fizzled and exploded. What the hell was that? They both saw one of their own turn to golden dust from the simple knife and both turned to glare at the blonde, only to see all 5 of them running towards the camp. Get back here, you bastard. Great, now they're even more angry. Was that your plan from the beginning, Blondie? The punk girl asked him as they ran with him taking the rear. Quite the opposite, really. I was hoping that would distract them long enough for us to make it to camp. Naruto said while throwing more behind him in a random direction, taking out a few of the hellhounds as he recently found out they were called. Well, with my shield I can probably buy you some time to get to camp, so we all make it or none of us do. Naruto told her while looking her in the eyes, making her stop her train of thought and nod at him. Well, do you have any more tricks up your sleeves? The blonde boy asked, making him think and slam his fist on his hand. One, but I'll most likely pass out from exhaustion. Naruto told them, making them nod. Do it, Grover, and Luke will catch and carry you, Blondie. The blackette said. Sure thing, Sparky. Naruto fired back at her, making her eyebrow twitch in annoyance. My name is Thalia. She told him while glaring at him, making him chuckle and smile while stopping and lifting his hand in the air while 2 clones popped into existence at his sides. Naruto, now get behind me and prepare to catch me. Luke and Grover did as told while Thalia and the little girl kept running towards camp. On. Rasen Shuriken. With his attack ready, Naruto threw it at the monster, catching a good chunk of them and making the weaker ones flee, while the bird ladies were still there with small cuts and scrapes. Lord Hades will make you pay, boy. All Naruto could make out while trying to remain conscious was the panicked voices of Luke and Grover screaming for Thalia. He risked lifting his head only to see the Thalia girl get smacked hard by one of the few remaining Cyclops. I'm sorry, I couldn't be stronger right now. Just before losing consciousness, he saw a bolt of lightning hit Thalia before passing out to the screams of the little blonde girl. Mindscape. As his body healed and rested, Naruto was inside his mindscape staring down the Shinju, who was doing the same. It seems even now you're causing me trouble, Shinju. Naruto knew it couldn't speak as chaos and it was only her chaotic nature in physical form, and as such chaos has no conscious, only instincts. You kept me from saving a little girl, and now because of your interference in me, I have to face her friends and tell them I'm sorry for not being able to save her. I swear to you I'll make you submit to me so I never have to see another person die in front of me. Naruto put his hand on the Shinju's snout and squeezed, taking a bit more chakra from it to speed up his recovery. I swear this on my partner's and best friend's name, Kurama. As he made his oath, he felt himself awake in the real world. He knew time in his mindscape was different since it was all in his head. He could make time last as long as he wanted. Real world. Naruto awoke to a sore body and dry throat. He looked around for water and saw a glass on his bedside, but when he reached for it all he did was smack towards the floor. You should rest some more since I bet your body is still not fully recuperated. Naruto turned to look at a half-horse half-man speaking to him. My name is Chiron, trainer of heroes and one of the counselors here at Camp Half-Blood. He introduced himself, knowing the look in Naruto's eyes. Hi, I'm Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto said, not knowing what else to say. Nice to meet you, Naruto. Now let me ask you, do you know who your godly parent is? At his nod, Chiron started to stroke his beard. Good, then rest, and when you can walk we will present you to the camp and see if you are claimed. Are the ones I came into camp okay, Chiron? He asked, seeing his shoulders stiffen a bit, not too much to be noticed by normal people, but to a shinobi it was enough to answer his question. I see, it was Thalia, wasn't it? Why yes, her father made a grave mistake as she was never to be born, so she would have always been Chase had she remained among us, but he didn't want his brother to get his hands on her, so he decided to make her a pine tree, with the added benefits of making a protective barrier around the camp, forever being out shield. Naruto now knew who her father was, and he was angry at him, basically letting her neither die nor live to always be in limbo. Thank you for answering me honestly. Now if you'll excuse me, I'm going to sleep some more. He need to get his strength up and calm himself, so he kindly told him to fuck off. I understand, do try to rest. I'll send someone over to help you later. Now he was left alone with his thoughts, and he didn't like that. As for one, he was an idiot, so thinking wasn't his forte, he knew that. Damn it, where is Shikamaru when you need him? Time passed by with him waking up periodically to drink water with the help of some camper until he could finally stand by himself 3 days later. As he walked out of the big house, as he found out what it was called, he looked around at all the campers walking around doing their own thing or training on what looked like swordplay, hand-to-hand combat and rock climbing. Finally awake, I see? Chiron asked while trotting up to him. I stayed any longer and I'm sure my back would meld together to the bed. Naruto joked, making Chiron smile at his bad joke. The other that came with you has already been claimed, so we must now introduce you. So who are their godly parents? Naruto asked while walking with his arms behind his head and lifting his legs into the air a little too high. Well, Luke is the son of Hermes, god of thieves, travelers, and the messenger of the gods. While Annabeth, the little girl with you, is the daughter of Athena, goddess of wisdom, battle strategy, and architecture. Chiron told him, making him nod along even if he had no idea who they were. Now wait a bit, children gather around to welcome a new member. This is Naruto Uzumaki, and Chiron stopped when the bronze peacock feather symbol of Hera appeared over his head, along with the symbol Chaos, the literal creator of their world and all others. They all hail Naruto Uzumaki, son of Hera, queen of Olympus and goddess of marriage, motherhood and patron of women. As well as the champion of Lady Chaos, creator of all. Chiron and even the pudgy man with a soda can kneeled before him, making him make a face of disgust. You guys really bow well that lame, can't you just, I don't know, shake my hand and give me a pat on the back as a welcome? Before Chiron could say anything, a bolt of lightning came fast towards him. If it wasn't for his shinobi training, Naruto was sure he would have been hit. Before he could breath, another came towards him, making him dodge again and again. He was beginning to see why Chaos called him a child. Having had enough, Naruto reached into his mind looking for a specific jutsu he always wanted to try. Finding it, Naruto quickly ran through the hand signs and called out his jutsu. Akiri lighting blade. Everyone saw as Naruto produced lighting of his own in his right hand and used it to literally cut Zeus's own lightning bolt. Naruto stood there with another lightning blade, ready to cut another lightning bolt should he need to, but when he saw the sky clear he sighed and let his jutsu fade. As he did that, he grabbed his hand and started breathing a little hard with sweat coming down his face. So this is what Lady Chaos meant with me not being used to the techniques I got from the other. If one signal lighting blade used so much chakra. I need to start training again and fast, can't be using untested jutsu right off the bat. So what now? Naruto asked the horseman, who merely looked at him in shock at his deeds. Mount Olympus. Zeus was fuming at his wife's bastard for merely living and then having the guts to show him up using his own element. It seems he's better at controlling lighting than you, Zeus. Poseidon laughed at his little brother while Zeus merely glared at him before turning at his wife. Don't you dare tell me anything, Zeus, or should I remind you of all the times you cheated on me and sired all those children of yours?" Hera said while looking him dead in the eyes, making him look away before turning back to her ready to fight again, only to shut him up again. "At least my son is capable of protecting himself instead of needing daddy to help him or give him the gift to become a hero." Hera said, and Zeus knew what she meant, so he merely looked away. "Can he be trusted, sister?" Hades asked her. "Of course he can, brother, or do you think chaos would have made him a champion of hers otherwise?" Hera answered, making him frown but nod. "So where was he all this time?" Demeter asked while looking at the image of her sister's demigod. "In his original realm, as he was the child of prophecy in his own world." This made everyone curious. "Oh, another child of prophecy?" Athena asked while already curious of this boy. "The blue-eyed boy that would call the names of the 9 beasts and play with them. A simple prophecy but a very effective one, as my son grew to love and be loved by all in his realm, to the point where all the separated parts of the primordial being in his realm loved and trusted him like the prophecy stated," Hera said, while smiling at the image of her son. "So if you leave my son alone, I'll leave your son alone, dear." Hera whispered this simple threat to Zeus's ear, making him look at her in shock. "Alright, so long as he stays in line, I won't try anything." Everyone looked between the two, knowing Hera made a very scary threat if Zeus was agreeing to let the child live. "Be but one wrong move and I'll end him, Hera," Zeus threatened, trying to keep control. "As you wish." Hera could see all the gods interested in her son, but none more than Aphrodite. Hephaestus didn't seem that interested in him, even if he was technically his half-brother. Ares seemed more interested in his fighting prowess than anything else. Aphrodite just seemed to ooze out lust as she watched her son walk about the camp. She would need to warn her son of her. Demeter was looking intently at him, more in the way of seeing if he ate enough cereal or not, so Hera merely rolled her eyes at her. Athena was using her big brain to calculate if he was useful to her in any way, and Hera quite honestly didn't like it. Apollo was grinning from ear to ear, having seen how her son had an effect on Aphrodite, and she knew he was planning on using him to pick up mortal women. Artemis seemed to take an interest, but nothing more than that. Maybe it was the permanent feeling of nature that accompanies her son when he became a full-fledged sage. Hermes, well, from what she could see, he didn't even look his way, being too preoccupied with the cell phone of his, so she moved on. Dionysus was just reading another magazine about wines and vineyards, so she left him be. Hestia seemed to smile at her before giving the image of Naruto a gentle smile, and Hera knew her eldest sister felt the family-oriented love her son gave off. Hades, on the other hand, nodded at her and went back to trying and dissolve the fighting between his brother on who their mother loved most. Poseidon trusted her, so she knew he wouldn't try anything for fear of her wrath, so she wouldn't judge him too badly. She also knew about his demigod son, so she had leverage should he try something. Zeus, on the other hand, was the one she would keep an eye on very, very closely. Zeus, over at his throne, felt a chill down his spine, as if he was being watched and judged for a crime he had yet to commit. For now, Hera would watch the other gods and goddess more than others, but soon she would determine who could be allies and who would be obstacles. She also felt that maybe her future daughter-in-law was here as she panned to the other goddess. She smiled at some and nodded as she could see one falling for her son. "I have all the time in the world to plan on how to get my son together with her, so I'll wait. Grandchildren can wait a few centuries." Back at camp, Naruto was sneezing up a storm, wondering who was talking about him so much, and he also felt a feeling of dread, as if someone was plotting something with him in mind. 2 months later. In the 2 months since his arrival, Naruto had been training non-stop, trying to get back his strength. So far he was able to kick his clones from 3 to 8 without accessing Chaos's blessing. With her blessing he was able to make about 15, but it was very taxing on him. Since the day he failed to save Thalia, he was able to get to know both Luke and Annabeth. He found it funny when the little girl blushed and stuttered around both him and Luke, since it reminded him of Hinata. He also took it upon himself to train everyone in camp, including Aphrodite's cabin, something that the girls hated, but one well-placed Kai stare later made them agree. It also made them fawn all over him. Right now we find Naruto meditating with the dryads and nymphs around him, watching and drooling over his ability to be one with nature. When the satyrs found out that he could not only sense nature, but harness it to a certain, they almost fainted. "Hey Naruto, do you have a moment?" The voice of Chiron broke the silence, and surprisingly the dryads and nymphs glared at Chiron for interrupting him. "What can I do for you, Chiron?" Naruto asked while standing up and dusting himself off while letting the nature energy he had gathered slowly go. "I'm here to let you know that your mother's cabin has been cleaned and aired out, as well as renovated for a sage's needs." Naruto raised an eyebrow when he said the last part. "Was that all, Chiron, or do you need something else from me?" "Yes, you see, the satyrs have told me about another demigod child close by in New York City, and I was wondering if you would help us retrieve him," Chiron asked while walking with him. "In the shape I'm currently in, I'd do more damage than good, but if you can wait at least 1 or 2 years to bring him in, I'd be in better shape to help." Naruto suggested while stretching his arms. Yes, I believe we can, the child is around 7, so we might be able to keep him hidden for another 5 years before his presence becomes too noticeable. Chiron told him while nodding his head. Great, then I'll be heading out and exploring this world after all. I need to know my battleground. Naruto exclaimed while walking faster and leaving Chiron surprised. Wait Naruto, no one is allowed to leave camp if they have nowhere to go, since the kindly one will attack them. Chiron said while trying to talk him out of it. Really, well, that's great news then, since that means I'll get some experience fighting them and I'll be getting some training in. But that Naruto left him to go to his new cabin and prepare for his journey ahead. Hera's cabin. The moment Naruto entered his mother's cabin, he saw her sitting out on the patio leading to the docks, making him look around as he made his way towards her. His new cabin had a wooden floor with vines on the walls with tree branches coming out the walls. Naruto could practically feel the pure nature inside, making him loosen his tense muscles and take in a big gulp of air. He was able to also see animals walking in and laying on the floor just resting, making him smile and pat one of the deers that just walked up to him. Humming isn't hope you like it, Naru. Hera said while looking back at him and beckoning him over to sit in the empty chair next to her. It feels just like Konoha, Mom. What did you do? Naruto asked while sitting next to her and accepted the nectar she offered. Chaos pulled some strings and brought a bit of the leaf here for you, so going sage mode will be fairly easy in here and only you can enter or those you allow in. Hera told him while drinking her wine. I hear you're going on another journey. Hera said while smirking at his sheepish look. Yeah, I need to learn more of this world and I need to train, and you of all people should know that I learn better through action and not studying. Naruto answered while taking a sip of the nectar. Be safe out there, okay honey? Hera said while grabbing and squeezing his hand, making him squeeze back and smiling at her. Dear, I thought you were gonna try and stop me. HMPH, I know you better than most, son, since I always kept my eye on you, so I know better than to stop you. Hera pouted while looking away, which in turn made Naruto smile at his mom. Sorry Mom, do you have any suggestion on where to go first? Naruto asked her while looking at the setting sun in the lake while enjoying the feeling of nature coming out of his cabin. Hera smiled at him and thought for a moment of where to send him to before sighing and summoning a map from thin air. I suggest going to New York City so you get used to what this world looks like, and also you can check on that demigod child. Make sure to mark this place so you can return at any moment. Hera told him while handing him the map. As soon as he opened it, he saw a gold marker next to a light blue arrow. Naruto instantly guessed that the gold marker was his mother while he was the light blue. Whenever you see a gold marker, it means a god or goddess is around, and when you see an area highlighted in gold, it means it holds some godly connection. Hera explained while Naruto listened and nodded his head to show he understood. Now demigods are white with a golden outline as to show that they hold the potential to become a god. Naruto raised an eyebrow and was gonna ask a question when his mother beat him to it. You hold the Shinju honey, therefore you technically are a god, but with the potential to become a primordial, but chaos is stopping you so Zeus doesn't throw a little tantrum about it. Hera told him, making him nod his head. All you have to do is say your destination and the map will show you the direction you have to take. Here, I'll show you New York City. Hera loudly spoke and the map instantly started showing a red line that stopped directly on New York City. Oh, so I just say the location and it'll lead me there, so what if I don't know any location? Naruto asked her while looking at her. Then it hit Hera that Naruto had no idea about anything of her world and thought about it. Son, you do know that you have my blessing as well as the Queen of Olympus's blessing, right? What are these blessings, Mom? Hera sighed since she knew this was her fault. I guess you can call them bloodlines, since only those who are your blood relatives can use them. For instance, all of Ares' children are master weapon users, as it doesn't matter which weapon it is, they instantly pick it up like second nature. Ah, so I have a bloodline from you, Mom. Naruto excitedly said while smiling at her. Yes, as my child you have minor power over my domains, and as the child of the queen I have personally claimed you as Prince of Olympus, therefore you can look at someone and know everything about them. Hera told him, making his smile grow. For instance, you can look at that little Athena child and know who her mortal father is and what her fatal flaw is. Also, if you ever meet a child and you have a feeling he or she might be a demigod, you can use my blessing to find out who her godly parent is. Naruto was liking this, but felt that maybe that wouldn't really help him unless he became a demigod retriever or something. Hera, seeing this, decided to add more to make Naruto more proud of being her son and not think she was weak. You also get super strength far greater than even Tsunade, as well as being able to tell if something is of godly origin. Basically anything within my kingdom you'll know, and everything I know you'll know as well. Hera told him. Naruto for his part was amazed before a thought came to him. So Ares and Hephaestus also have these abilities since they are also my half-brothers? Naruto asked her. No, since I refuse to bless them with them since they are both unworthy. Well, more like Ares is, since if I did he'd try and use it to his own ambitions. Hera told him before remembering something important. Naruto dear, listen and listen closely. Ares will try and fight you as well as Aphrodite will try and seduce you, so please be careful, okay? If you can avoid them, please do for now, since if Aphrodite get her hands on you, she will try and use you too as she pleases. Hera warned him while grabbing his hands. Don't worry mom, I've been able to make progress on Madara Sharingan, as well as being able to once more use Dad's Flying Thunder God technique, Naruto told her while activating the Rin Sharingan and showing her. Of course I can't do any of the Uchiha's fancy techniques, but I'm getting there since now I can dispel illusions and cast minor ones. Hera smiled at him, knowing full well that her son was working hard every day, sometimes from sunrise till sunset. So how do I use your blessings mom? When you need it, it will come to you son. Hera told him before standing up and stretching. Well, I better leave before the other gods figure out I'm here, as we aren't allowed to visit our children because of the prophecy, and all stay safe out there Naruto, and remember, if you ever wish to talk to me, all you need to do is pray in my name, and I'll hear you. Naruto nodded his head before watching his mother flash away. Alright, time to pack up. Should I leave tomorrow or should I wait? As he started packing, Naruto was in deep thought about when would be the best time to leave camp. By the time he finished packing the little he had, Naruto decided to leave in a week, as that would give him enough time to train the camp a little more and show them a little more teamwork. 4 days later. As Naruto kept training the campers, he was able to see that some have been able to see that he was planning something since he was training them harder than before. He could see young Annabeth look at him with sad eyes before pouting and looking away from him. Yet she never missed his lessons in knife play and hand-to-hand combat. What really worried him was Luke distancing himself more and more from everyone. No one had noticed, but he wasn't a shinobi for nothing. He could feel the darkness taking hold of him, and when practicing his use of the Sharingan, he could see a strange aura around him. He had sent clones after him to spy on him, but unfortunately he always managed to give him the slip, something that frustrated him to no end. I'm gonna have to mark him before I leave, or else he might become a threat later on. As those thoughts went through his head, Claris LaRue, daughter of Ares, tried to sneak a quick jab at his face, only to have Naruto slam her into the ground and place his foot on her lower back. You know, sneak attacks are a great plan if and only if you don't do a battle cry before every single one of them. Naruto berated her while removing his foot, only to slap her left foot away when she tried to roundhouse his face. Come here pretty boy and I'll show you what I can do. Claris yelled while running at him full speed. Naruto sighed knowingly, since no matter how hard he tried to teach her self-restraint and teamwork, she never listened. Claris, listen, no matter how you come at me, if you don't have a plan you'll never be able to touch me. Naruto thought that by playing the arrogant persona she would learn faster, but to no avail. Shut up, I don't need your lectures, I just need you to shut up and taste my fist. As she ran at him, Naruto decided to play with her a little. As she swung, Naruto simply stood still and slapped her fists away, while every now and then flicking her forehead or spinning her around and flicking her neck. Stop playing around and fight me seriously, or are you scared of me or my father? Claris growled out while looking him dead in the eyes. That if I went all out on you, you'd never learn a thing, but if you insist I'll show you why these lessons are important. Naruto explained before looking at the gathered group of campers, some including Claris's siblings who were cheering her on. Look closely all of you and I'll show you why pride and arrogance will be all of your downfall. When Naruto said that, every single Ares child simply laughed while some were boasting about how their father would make it go Claris's way. Naruto just shook his head at them, knowing how badly they relied on their father to solve their problems for them. I see none of you believe me, but no matter, after I'm done here, you will all see how even if your father is a god, he won't be able to save you if your opponent is faster and stronger than you. But that Naruto blurred out of their vision before they all saw Claris being thrown around like a rag doll, before Naruto stopped and just stared at her, seeing how she was being thrown around by the after effect. Well, this sucks. Even though I can replenish my sage mode, it still lasts so little in this world. Must be because this world only has very little nature left. After Claris fell to the ground hard, every last camper looked on in shock of how easy and fast Naruto beat Claris, as she was only a fly to him. As I just demonstrated to you all, it doesn't matter if your father is Ares or Zeus. If you yourself are weak, then having a godly father means nothing. Naruto told them while looking around. In the back of the group he could see Luke with narrowed eyes watching him like a hawk, and Naruto very subtly kept his eye on him. Now then, who wishes to go next? No one moved as they were all too scared or still in shock, which disappointed him at how easy it was to break these kids' morale. Fine, then I'll choose one, Luke. Everyone present looked in Luke's direction, trying to gauge his reaction. Luke raised an eyebrow, but shrugged his shoulder and walked forward, and Naruto could see him putting on his friendly older brother mask the closer he got. Sure, but please do go easy on me since I'm mostly a swordsman. Luke joked. Naruto though could tell he was trying to snake his way out with his silver tongue, but unfortunately Naruto just got a late birthday present from his mother since when he finished the war against the Shinju he had turned 17. Don't worry Luke, since I'm also a swordsman, although I must admit swordplay is not my forte. With that Naruto summoned the executioner's blade, making everyone's eyes once more bulge from their sockets. This here is named Kubikirabacho, better known as the executioner's blade. It once belonged to an old friend's father, and I was allowed to wield it in his name. With that Naruto put the sword on his back and got in a crouched position much like Zabuza once did to him and his old team. Don't hold back Luke, or I won't fully be able to grasp where you lie in terms of sword skill. Ready whenever you are, kid. Luke visibly gulped before reading his own sword and took a tentative step forward. Naruto smiled at his cautiousness and decided to take the initiative and rushed him, making him raise his sword to block, only to fall to one knee as he felt the full brute force and weight of the executioner's blade. Think before you act, plan before you strike. This is something you must learn to do at once, for when you fight another sword user you must be ready. Even though Naruto didn't want to make him a bigger threat, he couldn't help but picture his old friend Sasuke. Sasuke left because he thought he could obtain power outside of the leaf, and Luke seems to be going down the same path, so if I can show him that I can teach him and help him get stronger here, maybe just maybe I can still save him. But that he jumped back and put his sword in a defensive position as Luke was able to get up and charge him. Naruto blocked every single strike Luke made, which he saw made him angrier if his quickened pace was any proof. While all around him everyone was whispering about how Luke, the best sword user of their camp, was being toyed with as if he was still a beginner. Luke, the guy who came to camp after fighting dozens of monsters, the guy who after joining the camp made a name for himself as a master swordsman, was being toyed with by Naruto. It seems he doesn't waste a single strike. He really is a great swordsman, but I didn't inherit all of my friend's memories and skill just for show. You're good kid, but I'm not in Uzumaki for nothing. Luke raised an eyebrow at him, saying this only to immediately dodge left, seeing the executioner's blade nick his right cheek. But that Luke was put on the run since he could block a sword that big or deflect it, and even if he tried to stop it, he was pretty sure his sword would snap. He couldn't even find a chink in his form, as this was a totally alien form to him, as it was not of Greek descendancy. What kind of sword stance is this? I've never seen it before. Luke questioned while dodging more strikes. Of course you haven't, since all you children do is study Greek history. There is a bigger world out there than just the Olympians, but none of you care since the rest require you to actually work for it, so you settle for the Greek stances. Naruto lectured while switching between the stances that B taught him as well as the ones Yuga taught him. He could see Luke struggling to even keep up, so he decided to end it so as to save him from further embarrassment. You're good Luke, but unfortunately I'm not tied down to just my Greek heritage like you, so have a nice nap. When they heard him say that, some looked on in confusion while others started leaving, seeing how Naruto was gonna finish it. Naruto for his part swung the executioner's blade behind him while reversing it so as to not cut Luke in half, and when he was ready, he pumped a minor amount of nature energy into his body. Think about what you can do to improve, and when you're ready I'll be here to help. Luke was about to taunt him before he felt the air leave his body as he saw Naruto under him lifting him up with the executioner's blade and then slamming him down on the ground, and the last thing he saw was Naruto putting Kubikirabacho on his shoulder and saying something to the crowd. 2 days later. For the past 2 days Luke had been asking him for spars, which Naruto obliged every time, and every time Luke was put into the ground with some effort every time. Naruto noticed that Luke learned more by doing much like him, so he started taking him seriously and making it more difficult for him to gain much experience, since he still didn't know if Luke was a threat or if he was just angry at his father. But now Naruto was busy in his cabin looking at the map of this nation called the United States of America and trying to see where he should go first. Luckily Chiron had maps of this world in his library that really helps me with locations, or it would if these maps weren't decades old. Naruto internally screamed while trying to map out which locations on Chiron's map still existed and which didn't. Some of these are not even mortal settlements, some of these are centaurs, nymphs and even satyrs' natural habitats. Naruto was losing his mind trying to map out his journey, but to no avail. Screw this, I'll head toward New York first, and after that I'll let the wind guide me. Having had enough, Naruto threw down the maps and decided to go it the old wanderer style. I need sleep. With that Naruto threw himself on his bed and let Morpheus take him to dreamland. The next morning. Naruto decided to leave before even the camper woke up to avoid unwanted questions, but he couldn't avoid Chiron, as when he made it to the front entrance he was there waiting. I see that you really mean to leave. Chiron stated more than asked. I see you still haven't stopped trying to make me stay. As for Naruto, he merely crossed his arms and looked at him. Is there any way I can persuade you to stay? Look, I know you care about everyone here, but the thing is I'm not like them as I was raised a shinobi since before I turned 13, and while yes some of these kids were already fighting monsters around that age, none of them were trained to be killers. Most of them fought for survival, while the shinobi fought for their country. I've fought in a war and I've seen many of my friends die. If I'm to help these kids I need to know your enemies, Chiron. As Naruto explained his reason for leaving, Chiron stood there surprised, not knowing him to have thought that far ahead. You seem to be full of surprises, Naruto. I'm a Uzumaki, and surprising people is our forte. Naruto smiled while putting his hand behind his head. Very well, but do stay in touch. I'm sure your mother would worry if you perish out there with her being unable to help. Trust me, Chiron, she knows. With that, Naruto started walking away in the direction the map said New York City was in. Chiron could merely watch him leave and was praying to his mother to watch over his safety, knowing if he prayed to Zeus he might try and kill him out there. But Naruto. As Naruto made it to the road, he could see his mother waiting for him and smiling. Hey mom, I didn't know you were gonna see me off. Naruto asked while stopping in front of her. Did you actually think I wasn't going to say goodbye to you, even if I can talk to you freely whenever I want with telepathy? However, seeing you will be impossible as when you left camp, you caught the attention of all the gods, but luckily I'm hiding you from them for now, but I won't be able to always hide you, since they might suspect me for it. So when I want to see you, you'll need to go to one of my many holy temples in the United States. You can find them just by asking the map. Hera told him while looking at the sky and narrowing her eyes. But unfortunately I have to go as Zeus seems to have noticed something off about camp, but don't worry, he won't try anything against you, since I do have leverage against him. I'll let you know about my journey every month, since if I tell you every day it will ruin the suspense. Naruto smiles at her while giving her a thumbs up. Hera walked towards him and hugged him tightly while giving him a kiss on the cheeks. Stay safe, you hear me, son, since I still want many grandchildren. Hera smiled at his red face. Hera jumped back while exclaiming her farewell, leaving a red-faced Naruto to start walking toward the Big Apple as the campers called it, all the while grumbling about his mother's outburst. Naruto couldn't help but to look on in amazement at the things that the campers call motor vehicles or cars as he's heard them called. I wonder if I can get one that might make traveling a lot easier. As Naruto continued walking, he let his thoughts wander while trying to imagine what this world could hold for him. The more he thought about it, the more he grew excited at all the possible people and fighting he might experience in this new world. But what he was most excited about was visiting this Japan, as he heard they made ramen and he needed his fix. Alright, let's get this journey started. The sooner I make it to Japan, the sooner I'll get to eat ramen. With that, Naruto marched his way toward New York to take a quick peek at this demigod child to make sure he stayed safe till he was stronger and had a better hold of all this new techniques. Naruto is on his way towards the big city, but is he ready for everything that this new world has, or more importantly, is he ready for all the mind-blowing new sights and gadgets he will soon witness? But Naruto was having a blast making his way towards New York City, as in the 2 hours he had set out he had fought nearly a dozen monsters. Man, some of these monsters are really weak, talk about a letdown. As he thought this, a one-eyed monster that he learned was a cyclops appeared from the nearby forest and tried to hit him with his club, only for Naruto to stop it with his mere hands. Now big guy, you'll have to do better than that next time. Naruto said while crushing the club with his newfound strength, making the cyclops stare at his now broken club before turning into gold dust. Naruto stood there with a legendary blade known as Kusanagi after cutting the beast's head off. Now I wonder how long till I reach the city. Naruto asked while taking out his map and thinking his location and distance and seeing he had about another hour till he reached the city. From his location Naruto could make out the city and he knew it would be a sight to see. As he began to walk once more, he saw one of those big cars known as a truck coming his way, making him grin. -15 minutes later. Naruto was having a blast riding the truck's roof and watching this new world pass him by. He knew if people looked on they would give him weird looks for riding a truck on the roof while sitting down. I love chakra. Naruto inwardly screamed in joy while filling the wind in his hair and lungs while using a little wind manipulation to avoid eating bugs. Naruto was smiling ear to ear as he saw the big green sign that said "Welcome to New York, the Empire State." Finally, I'm here. Naruto screamed while standing up and shooting his hands into the air with enthusiasm. Hey, what the hell are you doing up there, kid? You'll get yourself killed. The driver screamed when he noticed Naruto on the roof of his truck. That's my cue to scram. Naruto smiled while waving at the truck driver. Thanks for the ride, mister, it was fun. With that, Naruto threw down some smoke and shunshin away, making the driver and onlookers cough before noticing the blonde kid was gone. What the fuck? Where'd he go? The driver screamed while looking for the kid. Naruto for his part was on the roof of a nearby building looking at the city, making his eyes widen in shock at the sight of the Big Apple as the campers called it. He couldn't stop looking around at all the new sights like the big screens with commercials and advertisements. To the buildings with neon lights and the many cars and people going about their lives, he couldn't stop looking up and up and up. That's one tall building. Naruto exclaimed while looking everywhere before jumping to the next building and looking around more. Minus 30 minutes later. Naruto was sitting on the edge of one of the taller buildings, with one leg dangling off the edge and the other folded towards his chest. He had spent a while looking around and finding newer and newer sights, but one thing was certain. I need money and fast. Naruto sighed out while looking at the city, feeling the wind and seeing the building they called the Empire State Building in the background. What can I do to make money? Naruto thought out loud while enjoying the sight until he sensed a presence behind, making him summon a clone and pounce on the enemy, only to see a man with wings on his shoes and a caduceus. Not a threat. Not a threat. The man said while holding his hands up in a non-threatening stance. Who are you and why were you sneaking up on me? Naruto questioned while pressing his blade a little more. First things first, please remove your blade and I'll answer your questions, deal. The man said, making Naruto narrowed his eyes before nodding slowly and backing up. So what's your deal? Naruto looked at him with a raised eyebrow. I mean, most mortals don't usually have the reflexes to pin a god with no chance to escape. The now revealed god said, making Naruto look him up and down before replying. Hermes, I presume as for your question, I'm a shinobi trained to always be on guard, so you sneaking up on me was a stupid decision. I'm aware now, so your hair is kid I see, got to say I'm impressed with you so far. Hermes smiled at him while holding out his hand. Naruto looked at him and then at his hand before grabbing his hand and shaking it while showing a small smile. At least not all gods seem to be stuck-up assholes. This made Hermes burst out laughing. Oh, that's rich man kid, you're one hell of a ride. Naruto let the god finish before asking his next question. So what can I do for the god of boundaries, roads, travelers, merchants, thieves, athletes, shepherds, commerce, speed, cunning, language, oratory, wit, and messages? Man, you guys need to find a way to shorten that, that was a mouthful. Hermes for his part smiled. Well, I owe your mother a favor and she cashed it in recently. I'm supposed to help you in any way I can, and I heard you say you needed to make money, so I'm here to help you make some dough. Hermes said while summoning some chairs and motioning for him to take a seat. Oh well, next time start with that. Naruto told him while sitting down in front of him. Yes, well, your mother said something about your godfather writing some books that were a huge success in your old world. He asked while snapping his fingers and two glasses appeared filled with nectar. I see she wants me to republish them here and hope for them to be a success as well. Something along those lines. She also said that there are some other things you could use to make money that are in your scroll. Naruto drank from his glass while summoning his scroll, making Hermes look on in amazement at his abilities. So that's what this valuable part is about. Saying that, Naruto input some chakra, bringing out some things, making his eyes widen at the things he took out. Some of this stuff are pure gold. Where did mom find this? As he thought this, a little note fell down, making him pick it up and looked it over. I asked Lady Chaos to grab some of the elemental nation's prize jewels. I'm sure they won't miss a few, given how gold, silver and rare gems are a dime a dozen in the elemental nations. They won't miss a few. Naruto sweat dropped seeing his mother signed it with a chibi doing the peace sign. So how much are this worth in this world? Naruto asked while handing over two necklaces made of pure gold with some rubies and emeralds. Hermes whistled while grabbing the necklaces and inspecting them before nodding and handing them back and thinking it over. For both, I'd say around 50 million. Naruto's eyes widened and looked at the jewels and back before exploding. What? Hermes merely watches on with a grin, enjoying the small show of Naruto basically foaming at the mouth and rolling on the ground. Sometime later. After calming down Naruto, Hermes presented Naruto to a publishing company owned by one of his many demigod children that made it to adulthood, as well to some well-known entrepreneurs willing to buy some of his jewelry stock. Naruto also met and made quick friends with some auctioneers who would auction off some other of his jewels and gemstones his mother put into his scroll. Hermes even set him up with this world banking system as well as the demigod equivalent so he could use both currencies. It took about 2 months for Naruto to fully be set up and learn how to use the world's currency. By the end of it, Naruto was quite wealthy and couldn't be more happy with his newfound friends in many places, all thanks to his favorite god. Yo Naruto, how's it going? Hermes greeted Naruto in his new penthouse. I thought I told you to use the door. Naruto looked at him while eating his breakfast. Hermes just waved it off while sitting down at his table, and Naruto served him a plate of classic eggs, bacon, toast and coffee. So getting used to the new environment yet, or do you still need time? Hermes asked while looking at the many Narutos running around reading books and some on laptop searching stuff up. I'm actually pretty much caught up on this world's history and current events, so now I'm learning the world's languages and taking a shot at this so-called stock exchange. Hermes nodded before they heard one of his clones exclaim. "Oh hey, it seems our luck is as good as ever, we just made another 10 million over here." Hermes just looked at the real Naruto. "I must admit when you said that you had insane luck I thought you were joking, but I had Titch look into your luck and she said she had never seen a mortal with such broken luck blessing." Naruto sheepishly laughed while scratching the back of his head. "She said whoever your goddess of luck was, loved you so much as to bless you with unrivaled luck that even she wouldn't be able to undo it." Hermes was amazed and wished he had that much luck. "I wish sometimes I didn't since it always bites me in the ass later, sometimes making some very awkward situations." Naruto said, remembering some of the embarrassing moments he got into because of his luck. "So what are you planning on doing now?" "I've got a child to look into who might be a demigod on Chiron's request, then I think of traveling around fighting some monster and who knows what the wind blows after that." Naruto told him while finishing up his breakfast. "Cool, well I'm here on your mother's behest as she wants to know, and I quote, when will you get a girlfriend," he said, making Naruto blush before sighing. "Really mom, I thought we had talked about this." Hermes knew better than to deny her a request knowing how scary she could be when angry, plus he liked the kid, he was fun to be around, always making everything interesting. "When will you set out?" "When I turn in the next volume of Icha Icha Paradise," Naruto told while grabbing his godfather's third volume after translating it into English. This of course caught Hermes' full attention, making him lean in closer to him. "Is there any ways I can get a sneak peek as your good buddy?" Hermes asked while never imagining how successful this series would become, that even the gods waited on bated breath for the next volume to be released. Hell, this was the only reason Zeus even let him visit the blonde, since with his close ties with the blonde Zeus hoped for early copies of the books. "And here I thought you were here to visit me out of our mutual friendship," Naruto teased while waving the manual script for his latest masterpiece, as everyone around the globe was calling Jiraiya's books. Naruto just knew Jiraiya was most likely laughing his ass off in heaven, knowing that an entirely new world was hooked on his work. "Here, knock yourself out." Before Hermes could answer, Naruto threw him an early limited edition copy that he had made beforehand for his friends. "I Hermes swear to repay your kindness with whatever you desire." Hermes bowed to him in gratitude after receiving the most prized thing in all creation to him anyways. Yeah, not good, I need to hand this in before checking on the kid." Naruto waved him off with that as he made his way toward his room to get ready for the day, making Hermes just nod as he was already reading the book. That evening, Naruto couldn't get over his publisher's reaction to him dropping off the next volume. It seems no matter where he went, perverts were always around him, not that he minded since his publisher was a good friend. Now though, Naruto was standing on top of a streetlight overlooking the park, where one of the satyrs said the would-be demigod was currently with his mother. And he's a demigod alright, but whose he is isn't so easily mistaken with his overly pungent smell of the ocean. "Man, this just got a whole lot more difficult. What was it Mother in Chaos said? Oh yeah, the big three can't have children, and here I find Mr. Earthshaker's love child try. I can't interfere in this kid's life just yet, or Sparky might find out and kill the kid, and given his only 7, I'll give him 3 more years before I approach him and help him out a little." Naruto also saw the kid's mom sticking close by to a very ugly man, and even with enhanced senses he could smell the man from his position, making him frown a little. The mother will always make the biggest sacrifices if it means protecting her child, huh? I'll find a way to help her out before the kid needs to head to safety. But that Naruto vanished in a golden flash, never noticing a young Redeed looking on in awe where he stood and wondering if she was finally going crazy. 4 months later, Naruto had finally made it to Wisconsin after many stops and sightseeings, but why did he come here of all places? Well, because of Northwoods Forest, of course. It was time he buckled up and trained like never before, plus given how close he was to the border to Canada, he knew he would be isolated and would easily be seen by passerby. "Now then, for the next 2 years this will be my home. I will master everything, I will master Madara's eyes, and I will conquer the 10 tails, or my name isn't Naruto Uzumaki," he yelled while tossing his jacket to the base of a tree and started to stretch. But that Naruto summoned the 20 clones he could muster at the moment and looked around before nodding at them. "Alright boys, let's begin." Elsewhere in the forest. "Ma'am, did you feel that?" a young girl asked her apparent leader as she looked into the distance. "Yes, take the others back to camp, I'll check it out." The young girl looked like she was gonna protest. "Now Zo?" "Why yes, Lady Artemis," Zo said while picking up their hunt and leaving. Artemis for her part changed back to her adult form and started running in the direction she felt the sudden surge of power. Whatever this is on par with a god, Artemis thought while getting ready for a fight should she have to fight. Naruto for his part was going all out knowing that the humans of this world couldn't sense chakra, only the demigods to an extent. As he continued to work on his chakra and elemental manipulation, others worked on seals, and some even worked on drawing in nature energy, while the remainder also tried to use the Jubby's chakra. He had been at it for a few hours trying to make leeway, but only succeeding in increasing his clone count. Damn, this isn't going as smoothly as I thought it would. Naruto knew if he wanted to succeed he'd have to conquer the Jubby, but he was in no way ready to take him on. Something is coming pretty fast, and from the feel of it might be a god, could be Ares, therefore this could be trouble. Naruto stood up and cancelled most of his clones except 2, as he left them to gather nature energy, and readied himself. As he got into his frog kata ready for a fight, he didn't expect an arrow to swoosh by his head, forcing him to dodge if only by a hair. With that, Naruto readied his own attack before attacking. Blind style. Air bullets. As his attack ripped through the foliage, he was able to see his attacker very nimbly dodge his attack. Skilled fighter, I see, so this isn't Ares since mom said he's mostly a close quarter fighter, and this one seems to prefer the shadows of the forest. Naruto then had the biggest smile of his life as he went through some new hand signs. The only good thing to come out of having the Jubby is my new ability to use all elements god. I've wanted to do this ever since I saw Captain Yamato use it, and now I can. Wood style. Smothering binding technique. With his jutsu announced, Naruto aimed his right arm in the attacker's direction, and to the attacker's surprise his arm turned into wood before extending in their direction, catching her by surprise. What the hell? Naruto's eyes widened when he heard a female's voice and saw her closely as a very beautiful woman. She has the same color hair as the Mizukage, and her eyes remind me of Hinata's, although much more beautiful. Naruto thought while holding her in place a few feet in front of him as he watched her struggle to get free, only to slowly tire herself out. What's going on? My strength is leaving me. I feel tired and weak. What did you do to me? Artemis tried to sound strong, but with the exhaustion she felt she could only muster a fierce glare sent at poor Naruto. Protecting myself, given how you were the one you struck first. Naruto answered her while lowering her a little. What are you going to do now that you've won? Let me guess, you're gonna take me as your trophy. She told him while spitting in his direction. Naruto for his part sat her down on the ground and released her, making her blink in surprise before Naruto flicked her forehead and exclaimed. The hell is wrong with you? Why would I do something like that? Artemis placed her hands over her forehead, given that the flick stung a littler, and merely looked at him. Wah. Don't wet me, what the hell have you gone through to think all men would do something like that? I mean, seriously, didn't you hear me when I said I was only protecting myself? Naruto lectured her for the better half of an hour, making her stay sitting there just looking at him and listening to his lecture. Sheesh. Now then, introductions. My name's Naruto Uzumaki, son of Minato the Yellow Flash and Kushina, better known here as Hera, Queen of the Gods. Naruto introduced himself while extending his hand to her to help her up and greet her. Artemis. Naruto quirked an eyebrow. I'm sorry, what? I didn't catch that. Artemis. My name's Artemis, goddess of wild animals, the hunt and vegetation, and of chastity and childbirth. She proclaimed louder while looking him in the eye only to see him smiling. Nice to meet you, Artemis. Naruto said while she begrudgingly took his hand and muttered a thanks. Now are you going to attack again, or are we going to sit down and talk like normal people? I mean, I can always tie you up if you're into that stuff, not judging. Naruto laughed as he saw her face go so red she could give his mother's hair a run for its money. Why, you damn pervert. Artemis yelled while shooting arrows at him, making him laugh and dodge them all, which infuriated her even more. Hold still so I can skin you alive and give your mother some boots made from you. She yelled while chasing him around his makeshift training ground. Laughter was heard for a while, while you could hear what sounded like a fierce lioness attacking her prey. The next day. Both parties were exhausted and laying on the floor resting, Naruto still having a huge smile on his face, which still pissed off Artemis by looking at it. Are we cool now? Naruto asked while looking at her from his peripheral vision. I'll wipe that smile off your face. She said while looking at him. Sure, you're welcome to try anytime. As she stayed laying down, she saw him get up and walk toward his pack before making a fire pit and lighting it up with a simple breath, making her blink. You can use wind and wood, and now fire, just what can't you use? She asked him while watching him cook some meat and boil some water. Given that I can now use all elemental affinities, I'd say I can basically use every element, plus merge them together to make new and better elements. Naruto said while pouring his water into his instant ramen cups and serving the meat in the cups before putting one in front of her. Dear, you hungry? Artemis looked at the food before getting up and sitting in front of him. Thanks. She told him while grabbing the cup and smelling it to make sure he didn't lace it. As she did this, she also watched him down about 4 cups in less than 5 minutes, making her look at his in slight disgust and amazement at his ability to eat so many. Sorry, I don't have anything else to give, as this was supposed to be only for me. Naruto said while watching her slowly take small bites from the meat and the ramen. So what brings you around these parts, Artemis? Hunts. Any good animals to hunt or monster hunts? Both. Naruto felt his eye twitch at her simple responses to his questions. Look, I get it, you don't like men, and I don't like stuck-up assholes, but just remember that the one at fault here was you for attacking me. I could have gone for the kill, but instead I merely stopped you gently. Naruto told her while emphasizing the word gently. She glared at him before dropping it. She knew he was right, he had her in his grasp, she was beaten, and he could have done anything to her, but he let her go. He has the power to subdue goddess and make them feel like mortals. I honestly thought I was done for me, the goddess of the hunt, so why didn't he finish me? Most men would have taken the chance, but he didn't. Looks like your companions are here for you. Naruto told her while he continued to stuff his face. Artemis looked up at him before using her senses and was surprised he was right, as she could sense her hunters coming in this direction. How did you know they were coming? I had to actively look for them to know they were coming. She asked him, thinking he would try and change the subject to hide his abilities. I can harness the energy produced by nature itself, and so I use it to amplify all my senses, so the moment they stepped into this area, I knew they were coming, still working on maintaining it for a while, as this world has very little nature left. Artemis kept getting surprise after surprise when she was with him. Using nature to such a degree was unheard of unless he was a pure sage. She asked him, making him nod his head, not seeing the big deal. Yup, second sage of Mount Myaboku, and what was it again? Oh yeah, the third sage of the sixth path, according to my mother. Naruto told her as he was standing up and stretching, already knowing what was gonna happen next. Get away from our lady, you filthy man. The angry voice of Zou rang out through the forest, and arrows after arrows were shot at him. All the hunters started in surprise as all the arrows merely passed by him as he stood there with his arms crossed. Holy shit. Thank you, Obito, for having such an amazing jutsu, cause if it wasn't for it, I would be a pincushion. Naruto inwardly sighed in relief at being able to unlock another cool jutsu, and that got him thinking. It seems that when I'm in danger I'm able to unlock more of the abilities of my friends, just like a Sharingan maturing. Well, hello there girls, how about we all just calm down and have a nice cup of instant ram? Naruto was forced to use Obito's jutsu once more as the one who screamed tried once more to attack him. Shut up and die. Naruto looked at Artemis and asked her with a mere look before she shrugged and looked away, continuing to eat her meat and ramen. Don't look at me, I'm still eating. She told him while ignoring him. Well, whatever now then girls, if you want to dance then so be it, just one suggestion, come at me with the intent to kill or you'll never touch me. With his piece said, Naruto decided to see who the stronger one were and decided to unleash the Jubby's killing intent, making around 30 girls faint while 20 others fell to their knees and started to vomit. In the end he saw that only about 6 girls remained standing but were shaking like leaves in fear, while the apparent leader was also shaking but was doing her absolute best to remain standing and was able to notch another arrow before shooting at him again. Naruto merely caught the arrow and looked at her before concentrating a big amount of his Kai on her, making Zou fall to her knees and have flashes of her death go through her mind over and over. Will they be alright? Artemis asked while watching her hunter in such a state, making her worry a bit. Well, from the history books that mom had me read, you care for this girls like if they were your children, so don't worry, I merely attack their will to fight and nothing else. They'll be fine once they catch their breath. Naruto informed her while looking at the girls and watching them catch their breath. Only 6 were able to withstand a fraction of the Kai, while the others were taken down so easily they need a lot of work if they are to take on any strong opponent above a well-trained demigod. Go to her and calm her down. I think I overdid it a bit. Artemis looked at him and nodded before walking to Zou. Naruto watched her go over to the hunters and talk to them, getting them to calm down and relax, but he could see they were all wary of him, if them looking at him with fear and keeping their distance was any sign. I really did go too far, they seem to be really scared of me. Man, I feel like if I became the asshole. Knowing he had to apologize, Naruto walked toward them and looked at Artemis, who narrowed her eyes but allowed him to get in front of her and her hunters who were trying to back away, but she looked at them, making them stop. Naruto looked at her, then at the girls, making them flinch, but when his eyes landed on Zou, she instinctively tried to back up, making him look down before, to their immense surprise, he got on his knees and kneeled to them. Please accept my most sincere apology, I didn't mean to go that far, I was only trying to gauge your abilities and your will to fight. I still do not have full control of all my abilities, as some of this I only just acquired recently, I had no idea some would be this grueling. Artemis and her hunters hadn't had a man apologize to them too profoundly in a long time without them having some perverted schemes up their sleeves. The hunters looked at each other before looking at their lady, not knowing what to do. You really are a strange one, you know that, right? Artemis finally spoke up while looking at him, not moving. She looked at Zou, who was looking calmer and had what looked like compassion in her eye towards him for going so far as to apologize to them. While she looked around, she saw many smiling at her and nodded before Zou herself nodded at her with a gentle smile, encouraging her lady. We forgive you, Naruto. Naruto smiled while standing up and nodded while rubbing his neck. Well, I guess I'll head out and find a new training ground. I don't want to keep disturbing you all. As he was making his way to his things, he saw Artemis stop him and get in front of him. How about we help each other out, given how you need help mastering your skills, and I want my hunters to become stronger. We can kill two birds with one stone. Naruto saw all the hunters nod and voice their agreement all at once. Okay, I get it. Guess taking them on as students would be better than having them go on and get themselves killed if I can prevent it, and it wouldn't be the first time I took on some students. Here's to a fruitful partnership. Artemis smiled while extending her hand, making Naruto nod as well and take it. This might be fun, both thought while smiling at each other. 6 months later. Naruto for the past half year has been having a good time. The hunters were excellent company plus very dedicated students, given how they paid absolute attention to his lessons. It also helped that they loved to hear his stories of his homeworld and the many adventures he got himself into. He even took the 6 top hunters and made them even more badass by teaching them swordplay with the added incentive of a reward at the end. The 6 took the teaching like fish took to water and were now at high Chunin level to low Jonin level. Now they were having a mock battle against him to see if they were ready to get their reward. Naruto looked to the side, seeing Zo, Phoebe, Naomi and Selen all resting but with huge smiles, looking at their reward, which was 4 of the legendary swords of the mist. Zo inherited none other than the Kubikirabacho, making her the leader in Naruto's eyes, but Naruto did tell her Zabuza's story, making her look at the blade with respect. Phoebe got Samahata not because he chose, but the damn sword literally jumped into her hand and wouldn't let anyone take it from her. Now she was merely petting it and talking to it, which was a weird sight, but whatever. Naomi got Shibik and told her to be careful not to blow up one of her sisters by accident, making her nod, and was now off to the side practicing with it. Selen got the Nabari, though Naruto didn't know if that was a good fit for her, but she seemed to be managing with it just fine, and taking it back and giving her a new one now would be rude in his opinion. The last 2 swords were still up for grabs, but his last 2 students were very good and he just needed to see them show a little more. Come on Chloe, you got to be more fearful. Ariana less screaming, more thinking. Naruto shouted out his lecture to the 2, making them look at each other and nod. Naruto saw Ariana attack from his front trying to distract him while Chloe got into place on his blind side. Good plan, but next time use the environment to distract and use some feint attacks to sell the plan. Naruto continued while sending Chloe to Ariana, who stopped to catch her sister and fell on her ass. As she looked up, she saw a practice sword at her neck before she saw her sensei smile at her before he burst out laughing. I see you exploited a man's weakness. Good job you 2, I'm proud to say you've passed. Naruto smiled at them, looking at how Chloe had her practice sword at his family jewels ready to strike. Naruto helped them out before healing their minor wounds, making them smile at him. After he was done, he had them stand in front of him to receive their reward. Chloe, thanks to your quick thinking you managed to pull a half-assed victory, but a victory no less, so I grant you the 5th sword from my set of the legendary sword of the mist. This is the Kabuto-Ari to help you break through any defense and help you protect your sisters better. Naruto announced to her and the onlooking hunters that were happy to see their sister get such an amazing weapon. Promise me you won't use it for evil and will only use it to protect your loved ones with this power. Naruto looked in her eyes, making her grow serious. I swear by the river Styx to never misuse this power you bestow upon me and only use it to help my lady and my sisters. Chloe spoke clearly like the 4 before her, swearing upon the river Styx to cement her vow. With her vow said, Naruto turned to Ariana and basically went through the same speech. Ariana, I present you with Hiramekure. Naruto summoned a huge sword, making Ariana gulp at the sheer size of it as well as the other hunters. Relax, the training I put you 6 through was for you to build up your strength so you all could handle these swords. Naruto told her while passing her the sword. Ariana thought it would be heavier only to find it a lot lighter than she thought, given how she was swinging around now. Ever since we began training I had already known which sword I'd give each of you. That is why I specialized each of your training to match your swords. The girls nodded and looked at their swords, now realizing why he always made them do different stances and workouts. It was all to fit the swords they would inherit. You said there were 7 swords, and you only gave out 6. What about the last one, Naruto? Artemis asked while walking up to her hunters and congratulating them before looking toward him. Naruto smiled at her, making her smile back before he walked up to her, and in a poof of smoke the final sword came forth. The last one was always meant for you, Artemis. Naruto announced while handing her the twin blades known as Kiba. Artemis looked at the blades with astonishment, knowing how precious they were to him. Are you sure I can have them? She asked while holding them in her hands and swinging them around, testing them before they ignited with lighting coursing through them, making her eyes widen at the beauty of them. Of course I'm sure, Artemis, after all I trust you completely. Naruto smiled, making her nod before turning towards her girls, seeing them all have smirks and knowing smiles, making her blush the tiniest bit before yelling at them. Alright, enough, let's start packing up and moving on to the next location, all of you. Artemis screamed, making all the hunters nod and go on to pack their belongings. Naruto also nodded and went on to pack his stuff, wondering where they would go next. 6 months later. Naruto was busy ripping apart some hellhounds in the deep forest of northern Washington. As he continued, he heard some explosion around his left, making him look around, seeing Naomi and Selen working together fighting off the onslaught of hellhounds. Good job, you two, keep it up and watch each other back. I don't want to tell Lady Artemis you guys lost to some mutts. Naruto yelled over the hellhounds' growls and roars. Don't worry, big brother, against these guys, we won't ever break a sweat. Naomi screamed while blowing up another 4 hounds. Here comes the next batch, Naomi. Selen announced while using the bari to wrap up another 5, watching as Naomi used Shibuki to blow them all, making gold dust rain around them. Seriously, why the hell is Hades sending out so many damn monsters? Naruto asked while using his wood release to impale around a dozen of them in one go. Last batch. Naomi screamed, bringing down Shibuki hard, causing a small crater where she slammed her sword. As the dust settled, Naruto looked around and stretched his senses, trying to see if there were any more monsters around the area. It looks like we're done here. Let's go, don't want to keep Artemis waiting. Naruto told them, making them nod before they grabbed onto his shoulders, and with that Naruto vanished in a golden flash. Artemis's location. Artemis was troubled, and not just because her uncle decided to start sending out more monsters for some strange reason, but because she felt herself changing. How was your talk with Lady Hestia, my lady? Zoe asked with Kubikirabacho on her back, making her look strange with such a big blade on her petite body. She was concerned but very helpful until she called that damn slut of Aphrodite. Artemis groaned but sighed, looking away from Zoe. Though she did clear up a lot of things for me. Zoe smiled at her lady, knowing what Lady Hestia and the detestable woman confirmed. You finally fell in love, my lady? Zoe stated, more than asked, with a smile. Artemis flinched at Zoe stating the obvious, making Zoe laugh at her lady, seeing as she was so easy for her to read, being with her for so long. Was it obvious, Zoe? Zoe nodded. Only to those who have felt like you could easily tell. Artemis didn't say anything, but Zoe placed her hand on her shoulder, making her look at her only to see her smile. He is a fine and trustworthy man, the only one we would trust your happiness to, since he would do anything to protect you, and he would also make absolutely certain you would never be sad. Before they could continue, they heard Naomi and Selen return along with a very loud Naruto laughing. Artemis, we're back. Naruto announced while waiting for her to let them enter her tent. Enter. Zoe sat down beside her lady, laying her blade beside her, watching the 3 enter Naruto with a huge smile, while the other 2 looked tired. Yo Zoe, how are you doing? Naruto greeted his most precious student, given how he allowed her to inherit Zabuza's blade. Zoe knew that Naruto trained her a lot more and even mentored her in other aspects of life more than the others. Some of her sisters even said that he treated her like a little sister or even like a daughter, doting on her. He always made time for her if she needed it and always treated her to anything she wanted, even going as far as taking her to the cities to learn and adapt to the new era after finding out she hadn't tried to adapt. Though he also did it for the others, they knew Zoe was special to him. They didn't mind, given how when he wasn't with Zoe or Artemis, he made sure to train and teach them all. I'm doing just fine, sensei, thanks for asking. Good, well Artemis, we're back with another successful hunt done. But now I must say that Hades making a move is very concerning. He hasn't done this since father had his demigod child, that bastard. Artemis suddenly yelled, coming to the realization. If it wasn't father, then it was the idiot of my uncle Poseidon who sired another damn demigod. The big man at sea, oh yeah, he was a kid in New York around 8 years old around now. Naruto stated while taking an apple Artemis had in her tent and taking a few bites, not noticing Artemis's look of shock. You knew he had a son already? Why didn't you inform me, Naruto? She asked while looking at him, making Naruto shrug his shoulders. You didn't ask me even after I informed you of my abilities. So she edged on, trying to see if he would continue, making him nod before swallowing the fruit in his mouth. He has his eyes and is currently under one of my clones' watchful eyes, taking care of him while I'm training and traveling with you, along with around 10 other demigods. I'll only interfere if they are in life-threatening danger. Naruto told them while sitting down crossed legs and waiting for her response. Any other high-ranking demigod in those 10 charges? Naruto gave her a look, letting her know when he was gonna play a prank. That's a secret. Naruto told her while finishing his apple. The others sighed, knowing he wouldn't say. And really tell her I found Hades demigods as well as Zu's other son. Naruto thought while inwardly chuckling. That's the reason though why I'll stay with you guys for another 2 years before going back to retrieve as many demigods as possible and start training the camp up again. I hope to achieve full mastery of my skills by then. Given how much you train, I'd be shocked if you didn't. Zoe said while remembering the sight of his many clones out in the forest training non-stop. Well, given that you now at least came to an understanding with this primordial being inside you, everything else should be easier. Naomi stated, making Naruto nod, remembering when he was finally able to give the Jubby some sort of consciousness by pulling Kuruma's personality forward to become the focal point for him to start splitting it apart once more. Glad I'm back, kid. Kuruma snarkily stated, making Naruto smile, glad to hear his partner's voice once more. Kuruma was surprised when he came to find his longtime host and now partner basically beating the Jubby's primal instinct to destroy to the back of the seal and pulling his sorry ass out. Flashback. Naruto had spent the better half of a week building this Biju containment ground for lack of a better explanation. He had used a lot of his nature energy from his cabin back in camp and spent days using his wood style to maintain it all in one place, making it the purest nature location in all this world. Even Artemis was amazed at the sheer beauty and feel of this paradise Naruto had created. It even attracted nymphs and dryads and many other nature spirits to its location. Naruto was busy building a shrine in the center of this new nature bounty to help keep the Jubby's influence centered in this location and help him control his power better. Almost finished, I just need one last thing. Sage art. Gracious deity gates. But that everyone saw 5 torii gates rise from the ground, 4 in the 4 cardinal wind direction, while the last rose directly in the center of them. Looks good. Naruto wiped some sweat from his brow, looking around at his handiwork. Alright Artemis, I'm going to begin, so please stand beyond the gates and do not let anyone get close when I begin. Artemis looked concerned but nodded, motioning for the hunters to come toward her, where she erected a barrier. I'll help as well by using the mist to make some more barriers to help seclude us and not attracting unwanted attention. Naruto nodded while taking his place under the middle torii gate before getting in a meditative sitting pose before nodding at them. If I look like I'm losing, call my mother, she'll know how to stop me before I start killing everyone. Alright, time to start. But that final thought, Naruto entered his mindscape to find his mother's adamantine chains plus the sage art. Gracious deity gates all over the Jubby's body holding it down. It's been a while, Jubby, how are you doing? Naruto sarcastically asked before the primordial roared at him, forcing him to block the immense chakra wave he sent his way. Damn, you're strong, luckily I don't need to beat you this time, I just need you to make some space for an old friend. Naruto then jumped onto his head before using the same technique Obito and Madara used to connect with it via wood style, only to fall to one knee. You don't like this, huh? After those two used it to control you, I'd see why you wouldn't like it. Naruto for his part started using the connection to send his consciousness into the Jubby's mind, using his presence to locate his old friend. Come on Kuruma, where the hell are you? He screamed, feeling the Jubby pushing out by force, making him use Chaos's permission to hold on a little longer. Outside his mind with his body, Naruto had 10 tails like chakra strands swooshing behind him, with gale force winds, making the hunters look on in fear, feeling the overwhelming sense of death and rage emanating from him at this moment. Lady Artemis, shouldn't we contact Lady Hera? Ariana yelled while using Hiramekure to block the wind and keep a hold of herself along with some of her sisters. Artemis couldn't reply as she was concentrating too hard on not only maintaining the barrier, but also the mist, giving how much raw power Naruto was outputting at the moment. This is too much power. Artemis inwardly groaned while straining to keep the barrier and mist up. Before she lost control, she felt a hand on her shoulder and looked to see Hera herself standing there before she nodded at her and helped her maintaining and even empowering the mist and barriers. Now with the two of us keeping him hidden, it should be much easier. Hera said while keeping an eye on her son, watching as the malicious chakra swirled around him, wondering what was going on inside of his mind. Back with Naruto, he was now actively using his new sage powers, along with his mother's adamantine chains, to hold the Jubby down, failing seeing as it kept breaking free. Damn it Kuruma, get you fuzzy ass out now. He screamed while sending almost all his sage chakra into the Jubby to find his friends when he heard it. Shut your mouth, kid, I'm trying to nap here. Kuruma's voice rang out through his mindscape, making him smile and look into the Jubby's eyes. Thought I would forget your fuzzball. Naruto grinned, making the now awakened consciousness of his friend laugh back. Never doubted you, Naruto, so what do we do with his instincts and rage that is very overwhelming? We lock it up further back into the subconscious and then split it into the new 9-tailed beast. When I can get all this new power under control and with you back on my side, it should go smoother. Naruto held up his fist to him, making Kuruma grin and fist bump him again after so long apart. You look good, kid. Thanks, old friend. Outside, everyone was watching as the chakra took the shape of a fox before starting to settle, and instead of tearing everyone apart, it felt like it was flowing around them protectively. Looks like Kuruma is back and is even helping him to gather nature energy faster. She smiled as she watched flowers and trees bloom around the place because of the oversaturation of pure nature energy. So it's finished now? Zoe asked with the Kubikirabacho still embedded into the ground before falling on her ass trying to catch her breath. Yeah, I'm done and I just reunited with a very old friend of mine after 2 years apart. Naruto spoke up while walking toward them with a smile. Naruto could hear Kuruma grumbling in his mind, sounding embarrassed to hear him say such cliché stuff. Then flashback. Present time. Yup, and with my partner's help I've been making leaps and bounds on all my trainings, so much so that in 1 year's time, I should be ready to split it up once more and free his brothers and sisters again. Won't it be dangerous to split it while inside you? Artemis asked while sipping her tea that Naruto offered her after making it while they talked. With Kuruma's help it should be I might be out for a while since I'm no old man sage, but I should be able to manage it since I have Madara's eyes and all the power from everyone from my old world, so awakening the Rinnegan shouldn't be that hard. All the hunters were aware that Naruto was on par if not stronger than the gods when he used his Sage Chakra mode now. Though once he mastered all his abilities they couldn't imagine how powerful he would become. Zeus wants you dead, you know that right? Artemis remembered the endless meetings her father called now to try and get the others to vote to kill him. Not that it'll ever happen given how Hera managed to make allies in the council to vote in her favor. It also helps that she apparently has leverage over some of them to scare them enough to side with her instead of father. She didn't want to know what Hera knew that could make even Ares vote in her favor. Mom's still terrorizing the gods? Naruto asked, making her snort in amusement. That's an understatement. They laughed at that knowing that in her time as Kushina Uzumaki, Hera had learned new ways to torment and gained a prankster side. So got any more hunts you want me to take care of for you? Naruto asked helping her hunt some of the more deadly and dangerous to Olympus monsters. Not at the moment, no. How about finishing the girls' training? Naomi, Selen and Zoe shivered in nervousness. Naruto gained an evil smirk unnerving them even more as they knew he was a slave driver when it came to training them. If my lady allows it then I shall. Naruto mocked Bo making him miss her small blush. Later that week. All the hunters were on the floor of their latest campsite out of breath and with small bruises and small shallow cuts. Devil. Maniac. Lowly lover. Some of the hunters yelled while exhausted on the ground. 2 of those are true while the other is just a low blow, I'll have you know I like girls my age. Naruto screamed back smiling remembering him yelling at Jiraiya the same way. Only difference is that he called Jiraiya a pervert to which he said that was wrong and that he was a super pervert. Now I have a bunch of annoying but albeit cute in their own right little brats to call my own students. Naruto continued to smile at them now knowing what Kakashi probably felt when he trained Sasuke, Sakura and him in the early years. His father probably felt the same way. Honestly Naruto could understand most senseis now given how he felt about the hunters. Though none of them had such cute students. Artemis was on the side on one knee after her recent spar with a wood clone Naruto, using nothing but her new blades trying to improve. You've also improved a lot, Artemis. The clone praised her with his eyes closed. Thanks, but why are you closing your eyes? The clone pointed at her shirt while looking away, making her look down to see her clothing in tatters with holes and tears in the most embarrassing places. Artemis turned red before glaring at him but saw him doing his best to look away, letting her anger cool a bit. Don't you dare look and if I find out you saw anything I'll kill you. Artemis said while using her powers to fix her clothing. I guess I should stop thinking of her unblemished toned stomach. Damn, I'm becoming more like Kakashi every day. Naruto couldn't stop thinking of the glimpses of her beautiful body, now understanding why she chose to make that vow. If the other gods ever find out how truly beautiful she really is they won't stop at anything to have her. Zoe who was sitting against a tree saw everything and smiled seeing that both her lady and Naruto had a mutual attraction. Naruto treated them all like his daughters, spoiled them with the wealth he had accumulated thanks to his godfather's book and the jewels he brought from his world. With him around they could act like regular girls and he wouldn't judge or make them feel any less than a man. If one wanted to something he'd go above and beyond to get it for them. Now then, with the training going so well, how about we decide where our next hunt will be? Artemis announced while she finished fixing herself. Actually I've been thinking, Artemis, and I think it's time I head out on my own once more. What do you mean, Naruto? You don't want to come with? It's not that I don't want to, but I need to explore what's beyond this country after all. I've been wanting to go to this country called Japan and check it out. Naruto told her having memorized the up-to-date map Hermes got him. I've trained you all to basically put up a fight with the best of them. Hell, you might even put up a decent fight with some of the best shinobi in my world. If we talk about classifications, you'd all rank high C low B ranks, well the 6 of you rank mid to high A rank. Naruto proudly told them. Sensei, I'm sure there is much you can teach us. Phoebe hurriedly asked, seeming a little panicked. At some point you all have to make your way in the world by yourselves. I was merely your start to that path, but now I can proudly let you all go and tell anyone and everyone I meet that you all were my precious students. Naruto smiled at all of them while rubbing Phoebe's head, making her look at him with some misty eyes. Most of these girls hate most men because of abuse, abandonment, attempted rape and many other things girls their age should never experience. I'm not abandoning or leaving you all for good girls after all, remember the items I gave you all. All the girls nodded looking at the three-pronged knife they all had on their waist, courtesy of their blonde mentor. Those will allow me to teleport to you when you throw them into the ground, so remember if you all are ever in serious danger do not hesitate to use them. I also marked all of you so should anything ever happen I can get to you in a flash. Everyone nodded before looking at Artemis as it was no secret that their lady liked the blonde. Very well, but promise you'll be back in 1 year. 1 year, why? Naruto asked. We'll be going to Camp Half-Blood for a game of Capture the Flag and I want everyone to see what your training is capable of. I'll even get the gods to see this major slaughter of their precious kids so that idiot of a father of mine can see how stupid his new law is. Artemis couldn't wait to see that stupid brute of a half-brother Ares watch his children lose to her hunters. You got it, I'll make sure to bring you all souvenirs from my travels, you can bet on it. I'll hold you to that promise, Naruto. Sure, and you should know by now that I never break a promise ever. Everyone started packing their belongings while they all looked at Naruto sadly trying to pack as slow as possible, not wanting to see him leave. Though in the end they all were packed and ready to go looking at Naruto as all his stuff were in the big scroll on his back ready to head out. Alright, this is where we part ways and I'll make sure to come back and see you whoop those campers' ass. Naruto held up his fist towards Artemis making her smile and bumped it back with her own. Take care out there, Naruto, and remember to pray to me if you need anything before I forget. Artemis snapped her fingers making Naruto glow a bit, making him look at her surprised. Consider yourself lucky you're the very first male to ever be blessed by me. I've considered myself lucky to just be able to be at your side as the only male not to be killed for this long. With the final goodbyes Naruto saw them leave while they all waved at him and once they were gone he stretched and looked around. It's time to head out first. I'll stop by and drop of the next volume and then I'll head off to Japan. Naruto flashed off to his penthouse where he had a wood clone pop in regularly to avoid his neighbors suspecting anything. He had made the clone that morning and contacted his publisher and asked him to come for the next volume which he didn't have to wait long for. As he took the opportunity to shower and get some food into his system, he heard the doorbell to which he opened up to his publisher. Naruto baby, how are you doing my boy? In came his very happy and almost glowing publisher Chris Farah. I have big new kid. Guess who's going to be on the big screen soon enough. This surprised Naruto not expecting to have the books be made a movie so fast. This film company just offered us 10 million for full rights to the full franchise baby. Tell them no thanks. Naruto baby, this is a major opportunity, we have to take advantage of it. My godfather wrote the first book and entrusted me to continue his work. I will not sell anything, so let them know that if they want to continue then I'll allow them to film it and they can get a 60-40 cut. Chris looked surprised and nodded. They won't like it. Then we look elsewhere, Chris, we hold all the cards right now, they want us to cooperate because we're a global hit. If they disagree then counter with a 20/80, but we keep all right to the merch and everything else with the possibility to share, but we keep all rights. Got it, and if they refuse I know there are other production companies who want a piece of your work, so they'd be stupid to refuse us. After a little more business talk Chris took his leave with a very fat manual script of the next 2 volumes, making him also skip out of his home in excitement. I guess I'll go buy this plane ticket and head out to Japan after checking up on the sea kid. As the sun went down in New York City Naruto leaned on his balcony's rail watching the night lights light up a city while thinking of what the next year will be like for him. What if Naruto primordial god Percy Jackson, and thanks for watching my video till the end. If you enjoy this content then do consider subscribing to my channel and leave a like if you guys need the next part, comment down, and thanks for watching the video and see you guys in the next video.